20,000 feet, clinging to the side of this mile-high wall of granite. And everything in front of me was just space.
Falling off a mountain goes against all my instincts as a climber, so this will be much harder for me. It's like throwing myself into the space between life and death.
3, 2, 1 down, 2 down.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. That was myself and a colleague setting the world record for altitude base jumping when we jumped with a parachute off the Great Trango Tower, 5,950 metres, all the way back in 1991. Now, did that seem a little scary to anyone? Yeah. All of you. Well, with no understanding of what's involved in making something like that happen, you can really only respond from fear, untempered by reason or logic or emotion or training. But you know, I'm fascinated by that fear. I mean, what is fear? Where is it in our brain? How does it affect our lives? And more importantly, how can we overcome it? Because we all experience fear. In fact, I believe fear is the main reason that people don't achieve their full potential in terms of health, happiness, and success. Every animal on the planet experiences fear, and humans are the only ones who can overcome it. And we've all done it. We've all faced some challenge that seemed impossible, but we found a way through. So today we're going to have a look at some more techniques that can help anybody move beyond their fear to discover what's possible. Now, by background, I'm a doctor of emergency medicine with a special interest in fear. Every year, I literally see thousands of people who are sick with fear because chronic activation of the fear system can contribute to all those lifestyle diseases, high blood pressure, cancer, diabetes, heart disease. So how we manage our fear directly impacts our health. And my journey to overcome fear started about 20 years ago when a medical colleague invited me to go canyoning in the Blue Mountains just outside of Sydney. These mountains are sandstone mountains that have been cut through by water across the millennia to make formations that are 10, 20 feet wide and a couple of 100 feet deep. And you can walk down the streams and swim through the pools. And then they said to me that you've got to abseil down the waterfalls. And to tell you the truth, the whole idea of me abseiling down a waterfall, like I thought, no, forget it. I'm a doctor, I'm conservative, I'm responsible, I can't do that stuff, I don't want to die. But I did it, and I didn't die. In fact, I found the experience of confronting and overcoming my fear. I found that that was so empowering that I decided to keep going with this adventure thing. In fact, I decided to become a professional adventurer and join these National Geographic-style journeys of discovery. But even before my first National Geographic expedition, I realised that the doctor on those things never ever gets paid, but I noticed that the cameraman always did. So I went back to uni, I did another diploma in filmmaking so that I could wear two hats, or multitask as the buzzword goes, to make myself a more attractive and employable proposition for those National Geographic journeys of discovery. And in the last 18 years or so, I've been on about 16 major international expeditions with very diverse goals, ranging from sailing a schooner all the way from Australia down to Antarctica to be part of the first team to climb the highest unclimbed mountain in North Victoria Land. I was also part of the Social Climbers expedition to have the highest black tie dinner party in the world. And I also joined the famous Hollywood filmmaker James Cameron to make a documentary about the most famous shipwreck in the world, the Titanic. And I was part of the team that flew the first hot air balloons over the summit of Mount Everest, over the top of the highest point on the planet. And I was again part of the team that climbed and then base jumped off what we thought was the highest cliff in the world. Now, to some people, the things that I do seem dangerous. But to me, danger is in the eye of the beholder. It's a perception, it's a paradigm, it's a pattern of thinking. And by changing the way that we think, we can change the paradigms that limit our world. So I don't see this stuff as dangerous. I do accept that it's got risk, and my job is to mitigate that risk. And to mitigate that risk, I've got to follow a process of personal transformation. And this is a process that we all know about, because whether you want to set a world record jumping off the highest cliff in the world, or you want to get absolute momentum in changing Geni, you've got to follow essentially the same process. You've got to have a long-term plan. You've got to have a set of skills. You've got to have a clarity of purpose guided by a common set of principles. And I know that a real team following a process of transformation like this can literally achieve the impossible.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Spun off the ice, my head's on its own base jump, and I was rolling after it.
I'm going head down, losing, out of control. A panic. Come on! Into a tumble. The pilot chute. No! Upside down, I'll just be wrecked.
Speed. Whoa! Granted in the face. I might hit this. This wasn't the plan.
Get out of the tumble. I have to open. Whoa! Ground rush. Whoa! The pilot chute is stiff. Come on!
That base climb, it was the result of about a year of planning and preparation. It was the result of overcoming the fear and managing the risk. And I firmly believe that just about everyone in this room could do that if you followed that process of transformation. But I can see a lot of you are thinking, yeah, right, Glenn, that's okay for you to say. You're from Australia. Well, now, and you're crazy, right? Australian crazy. Well, now I'd like to introduce you to someone who's definitely not crazy, someone who, like you, is a business professional, a woman, a mother of adult children. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my wife, Heather Swan.